If you think Jimmy Haslam is sitting quietly after Kevin Stefanski's cold dismissal of Shedeur Sanders' confidence, think again. Behind the scenes, it's getting loud. And according to insiders, Haslam's patience may already be gone. Because when your head coach shrugs off your most promising young quarterback like he's background noise, that's not just a press conference misstep. That's a red flag for ownership.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Stefanski had the perfect opportunity to build momentum. Shedeur Sanders, poised professional, told reporters he believes he could start for most NFL teams. Not cocky, not disruptive, just confident. Exactly the mentality you want in a franchise quarterback. And Stefanski, instead of using that moment to endorse the kid's leadership or show faith his future, he practically rolled his eyes and moved on. Cold, detached, passive. Haslam didn't miss that. In fact, sources say he's furious, not just about the comment itself, but what it represents. A coach more committed to playing it safe than developing elite talent. A coach who'd rather double down on aging veterans and risk building around someone with upside, charisma, and actual fire. And let's be honest, this isn't just about Shedeur anymore. It's about a culture, a philosophy, a mindset inside the Browns organization that's stuck in the past while the rest of the league evolves. Stefanski's been praised for being measured and controlled, but in this moment, that measured tone sounded dangerously close to complacent. Meanwhile, Shedeur keeps showing why he's a future. He's not tweeting through it. He's not demanding a trade. He's doing everything right, while the Browns do everything to ignore him. And don't think other teams haven't noticed. Word around the league is that the Raiders, Giants, and Panthers are already watching Cleveland's dysfunction with interest. Because if Sanders gets fed up, they'll be first in line. Haslam knows that. He's seen this movie before, and he's not about to lose another potential star because of a coach who can't adjust. Stefanski might not realize it yet, but Haslam does. This isn't just a PR issue. It's a decision point, a make-or-break moment for the franchise. If Stefanski keeps pushing away the future to protect the present, Haslam won't wait around for it to implode. He's fired coaches for less. And this time, he might already have the next one lined up. The Cleveland Browns are spiraling. Again, and this time, the drama is centered on a name the franchise can't afford to fumble. Shedeur Sanders. What started as a routine press conference has turned into a full-on organizational crisis. The moment Kevin Stefanski responded coldly and dismissively to Shedeur Sanders' confident assertion that he's ready to start for most NFL teams, the walls started shaking. Not just inside the locker room, but all the way up to the front office. Because what Stefanski revealed in that moment wasn't just his discomfort with a confident young quarterback. It was a deeper, more troubling resistance to change, risk, and growth. And Jimmy Haslam? He's not blind or patient. According to insider reports, the Browns' owner was not pleased. In fact, displeased doesn't even scratch the surface. Because this wasn't just an awkward media moment. It was the latest red flag in a growing list of concerns surrounding Stefanski's conservative approach to roster management, player development, and leadership. Here's the issue. Shedeur Sanders represents everything the modern NFL is built around. Talent, swagger, professionalism, maturity, leadership, confidence. He checks all the boxes. And yet, in a franchise that desperately needs a new identity, Stefanski has effectively sidelined all of that. Instead of welcoming Sanders' competitive spirit, Stefanski downplayed it, publicly. No endorsement, no acknowledgement of his potential. Just a flat, dismissive wave of the hand that said, "You're not there yet." That's the kind of reaction that kills locker room momentum. Let's be clear. Shedeur wasn't demanding a starting job. He wasn't throwing shade. He simply said he believes he's ready to start in this league. And frankly, he's not wrong. Have you seen the state of quarterback play across the NFL right now? There are at least 10 teams who would call tomorrow if Shedeur were suddenly available. But in Cleveland, the staff won't even call his number. Instead, they're sticking with Joe Flacco, a reliable, respected vet, sure, but one who is nearing the end of his career. The fact that Flacco remains a safe fallback isn't the problem. The problem is what that fallback says about the staff's unwillingness to evolve. Kevin Stefanski has locked into a coaching philosophy that's worked in the past, but the past isn't winning games in 2025. The NFL is a league where rookie QBs are being thrown into the fire earlier than ever before, and it's working. The Texans trusted C.J. Stroud. The Colts trusted Anthony Richardson. Even the Panthers took their shot with Bryce Young. These teams understand the truth. You have to develop your talent on the field. Cleveland? They're letting theirs rot behind a clipboard. And that's exactly why Jimmy Haslam is reportedly on the verge of making a major change. Let's not forget, Haslam has fired coaches for far less. His tolerance for dysfunction is low. His tolerance for bad optics? Even lower. And watching his head coach brush off the future face of the franchise in front of the media didn't sit well. Because Haslam sees the big picture. And this isn't just a coaching misstep. It's a franchise-defining blunder in progress. Sanders has done everything right. He's been professional, poised, patient. He's kept his head down while also showing quiet confidence. That's rare, and it's not something you find every year in the draft. Other teams know it too. Franchises like the Raiders, Giants, and Panthers are watching closely. If the Browns continue to sideline Sanders, other teams will absolutely pick up the phone. And if he gets traded, that will be a disaster Cleveland won't recover from. Because this isn't just about losing a talented player. It's about sending a message to every future draft pick, every free agent, every veteran leader in the locker room. This team doesn't invest in its future. And once that perception takes hold, you can't shake it. But this goes even deeper. Stefanski's reluctance to take risks has become a pattern. His play calling has grown stale. His quarterback handling has been rigid. And even rookie Dylan Gabriel, another young, talented quarterback on the depth chart, isn't getting creative reps or development attention. It's a clear sign this coaching staff doesn't trust its young players. And that is what could cost Stefanski his job. Haslam knows that trust is everything in a locker room. Trust in players. Trust in leadership. Trust in development. And when your coach sends a message, loud and clear, that he doesn't trust a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders to even compete for a role, you fracture that trust across the board. Other players see it. They start to wonder, if Shedeur is not getting a chance, who is? That's how morale breaks. That's how buy-in dies. And in a league built on razor-thin margins, that's how you lose games you never should have lost. What makes all of this even worse is that Sanders is still waiting, still respectful, still saying the right things. He's not demanding trades. He's not stirring up drama. He's giving the Browns every chance to get this right. But they won't have that chance forever. There's a very real sense that Sanders' patience is finite. And rightly so. He's not some unknown commodity. He's a nationally recognized talent with strong lineage, elite training, and the kind of mental maturity most rookies don't walk into the league with. If Cleveland doesn't act soon, they're going to lose him. And let's be honest, Shedeur Sanders will be successful. Maybe not in Cleveland, but somewhere, because there are too many teams that would build around him in a heartbeat. And if the Browns are too slow, too scared, or too stuck in their ways to see it, they deserve to watch him flourish in another jersey. That's what Jimmy Haslam is staring down right now. The risk of letting another generational quarterback walk out the door because his head coach couldn't get out his own way. Stefanski isn't just at risk of losing games. He's at risk of becoming the coach who buried a star. And once that narrative locks in, there's no coming back. So now it's decision time. Haslam can stay silent, hope the culture magically fixes itself, and watch as the situation burns down from the inside, or he can act. He can rip the Band-Aid off, bring in a coach who believes in bold development, and build around Shedeur Sanders before it's too late. Because this isn't just about a quote. This isn't just about a single press conference. This is about a pattern of safe, conservative, backward decision-making that doesn't work anymore. If the Browns want to move forward, they need a coach who leads forward. And if Kevin Stefanski isn't that guy, then Jimmy Haslam already knows what needs to happen. So what do you think? Has Stefanski officially run out of chances? Is it time for Haslam to pull the trigger before this turns into another franchise meltdown? Let us know in the comments, because this is more than just a coaching decision. This is a defining moment. And if Cleveland chooses wrong, they won't just lose a quarterback. They'll lose the future. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're done watching the Browns fumble talent year after year, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next twist in this ongoing meltdown. Because the clock is ticking, and in Cleveland, time is always running out. Cleveland is standing at the edge of yet another self-made cliff. The pieces are all there. A talented young quarterback in Shedeur Sanders. A roster with legitimate upside. A fan base star desperate for a new era. And what's standing in the way? One man, Kevin Stefanski. Let's be clear. This isn't some petty disagreement about who gets more first-team reps. This is about direction, about identity, about whether the Browns are willing to finally evolve, or they're content with being the same old story, repackaged with new logos and empty slogans. Because right now, with every passing week, the Browns are telling on themselves. And that message is loud and clear. We don't believe in change. When Shedeur Sanders had the audacity to speak confidently about his own ability, a completely reasonable, even expected trait in a quarterback, he wasn't met with excitement. He wasn't even met with neutrality. He was met with dismissiveness. Kevin Stefanski, instead of offering support or praise for the rookie's mindset, brushed it off like it was noise, like Sanders had overstepped, like belief in yourself, especially as a young player, was somehow offensive. And that is where this gets dangerous, because Stefanski didn't just fail to back his quarterback, he exposed himself. That moment told everyone watching that this coaching staff doesn't understand how to lead young talent in the modern NFL. It's not about handing Sanders a job. It's not about throwing him into the fire unprepared. It's about responding to confidence with confidence. It's about recognizing when a player is mentally wired for the league and doing everything possible to elevate that. But Stefanski didn't elevate. He minimized. And in doing so, he didn't just alienate Sanders. He sent shockwaves through the entire locker room, because every player, rookie or vet, takes note of that moment. They saw a young quarterback do everything right. Be respectful, be patient, be confident, and instead of support, he got side-eyed by the coach. That tells the locker room everything they need to know about how Stefanski operates. Play it safe, don't speak up, and definitely don't try to lead unless you've been anointed first. That's not culture. That's control. And in a league that increasingly driven by energy, momentum, and culture building, that mindset is a fast track to irrelevance. Now let's talk about who's watching all of this unfold. Because it's not just the locker room. It's not just the fans. It's Jimmy Haslam. And according to reports, he's furious. And rightfully so. Haslam has never been shy when it comes to firing coaches. His track record is long and, let's be honest, not always pretty. But what it does show is that he won't hesitate when it becomes clear that a coach is dragging the team down. And right now, Stefanski isn't just dragging, he's stalling. This is a guy who's been hailed for professionalism and system building. But when you peel back the layers, what's underneath is a rigid, outdated approach that is killing player development. It's not just Sanders being held back. Dillon Gabriel, another young QB with real upside, is barely in the conversation. The offense itself has become a monument to don't make mistakes, rather than let's make plays. There's no imagination, no spark, no risk, and that's what makes this so maddening. Because the NFL doesn't reward fear, it punishes it. And what Stefanski is coaching right now, it's fear in a headset. He's afraid to start the rookie, afraid to bench the vet, afraid to upset the balance. Afraid to admit that maybe, just maybe, the guy sitting on the bench could be the key to turning the tide. Meanwhile, Shedeur is sitting there, composed, committed, quietly building a case without even needing to say another word. He knows what he's capable of. Everyone does. Scouts, analysts, even rival GMs. And if the Browns don't see it soon, someone else absolutely will. Let's talk about that nightmare scenario. Shedeur Sanders in another uniform, because that's exactly where this is heading if nothing changes. Other teams are already monitoring the situation. Teams with quarterback problems. Teams with offensive-minded head coaches. Teams that will bet on upside and develop aggressively. You don't think the Raiders, the Panthers, or the Giants are watching all this and thinking, we let him cook? Because they are. And if Shedeur ends up there and flourishes, what do the Browns become? The team that once again had talent, had promise, had a chance, and let it go. And the kicker? This is all preventable. All it would take is for Stefanski to shift course, to say, you know what, we're going to start getting Shedeur more involved. We believe in his growth. Something, anything. But instead, he doubles down on Flacco, on control, on stagnation. And Jimmy Haslam? He's not going to tolerate that much longer. Because this isn't just about Shedeur Sanders. It's about who the Browns want to be. Are they going to be the team that finally turns a corner? That trusts its youth? That leads instead of chases? Or are they going to be the team that fumbles yet another opportunity, clings to outdated strategy, and watches the future slip right through their hands? The fans know the answer. They've seen this movie before. The excitement, the hope, the slow fade into dysfunction, the public embarrassment, and then the restart. Again, and again, and again. But this time it feels different, because Shedeur Sanders is different, and the Browns know it. That's why the tension is so high. That's why Haslam is on the verge of making a call. Because if this continues, if Stefanski keeps shutting the door on development, he's done. Not next year. Not after a late season slide. Now. And honestly, it might be the only move that makes sense. Let's be real. What's left to defend? The offense is stagnant. The innovation is gone. The locker room is quietly losing faith. The quarterback room is tense. And the future face of the franchise is being left to collect dust on purpose. What more does Haslam need to see? Because every day this goes unresolved, the damage compounds. Player confidence drops. Trade rumors swirl. Fans disengage. And the Browns edge closer to another full-blown identity crisis. It's not about blame anymore. It's about direction. It's about whether the franchise wants to evolve or evaporate. Stefanski had time. He had support. He had the benefit of the doubt. He's burned through all of it. So what happens next? Does Haslam pull the trigger and reset the coaching culture? Does he bring in someone who actually wants to develop Sanders and build a real future? Or does he wait, again, until the situation completely implodes? Because let's be very clear, Shedeur Sanders is not going to wait forever. He's been respectful, professional, patient, but he knows his worth. He knows there are teams that would build around him, trust him, believe in him. And if the Browns don't act now, he won't just leave. He'll thrive somewhere else. And Cleveland? They'll be left doing what they do best, wondering what went wrong, while watching someone else live the dream they were too scared to chase. The thing that makes the situation so exhausting, so infuriating, is that everyone sees it. It's not hidden. It's not complicated. There's no chess game here. You've got a rookie quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, who's handling himself like a 10-year veteran, mature, composed, consistent. And then you got Kevin Stefanski, a head coach who's clinging to a coaching style that feels like it was designed for a different league, a different era, a different sport entirely. You don't need to be an NFL insider to understand what's happening in Cleveland. All you need is two working eyes and a basic understanding of team dynamics. Shedeur is ready to play. He said it. His preparation shows it. His patience screams it. But the response from the coaching staff? Pure silence, or worse, condescension. And that's where the real damage happens. Because when your quarterback says, I believe I can start for most NFL teams, and your head coach acts like that a problem rather than a signal of readiness, it's not just a missed opportunity. It's a message to the player, the team, the league, and the fans that this coaching staff isn't ready to lead where the NFL is going. The reaction from Kevin Stefanski wasn't just dismissive. It was revealing. It exposed a man who doesn't want disruption, even if that disruption is exactly what the team needs. It exposed a coach who'd rather protect his system than develop his players. It exposed a leadership model that's scared of youth, scared of innovation, and honestly, just scared, period. And now, all eyes are on Jimmy Haslam. Because no matter how professional Shedeur Sanders remains, no matter how hard he works, how patient he stays, how respectful he is, This is unsustainable. You don't put a guy like that on ice without consequences. And Haslam knows this. He knows what happens next if nothing changes. Let's not kid ourselves. Haslam's not new to the coaching carousel. He's overseen it, sponsored it, been the conductor of it. So if anyone understands how quickly this type of fracture can spiral into full-blown dysfunction, it's him. And right now, he's watching it happen in slow motion. And what makes this even more urgent is that the Browns actually have something here. They're not hopeless. They're not rebuilding from scratch. They've got talent on both sides of the ball. They've got a passionate fan base that's ready to buy into something new. They have a quarterback who could be the face of that new identity. But instead of taking that leap, they're hesitating, paralyzed by the fear of what might happen if they put the ball in the hands of a young leader with something to prove. And you know what happens when you hesitate in the NFL? You get passed. While Stefanski clings to control, other teams are adapting, building around youth, playing aggressive, taking shots. Meanwhile, Cleveland's still playing like a game of don't mess up. And that's why this can't go on. Because this isn't just costing Shedeur Sanders playing time. It's costing the Browns their window, their chance to be something different, something better. Every week Stefanski stalls, that window shrinks. Every time Shedeur's confidence is met with shrug, you lose more trust in the building. Every time this franchise doubles down on safety, they inch closer to irrelevance. And when the inevitable happens, when Sanders walks, or worse, gets traded, this organization won't just be criticized. It'll be clowned. Because no one will understand how the Browns managed to misplay something so obvious. Kevin Stefanski is out of time. Jimmy Haslam has a choice to make. Double down on a coach who's scared to evolve, or finally commit to a future that's been patiently sitting on the sideline, helmet in hand, ready to go. Because at some point very soon, Shedeur Sanders is going to stop waiting. And when he does, the only question left will be, why didn't you give him the chance? Let us know in the comments. Is this finally Stefanski's breaking point? Is Jimmy Haslam waiting too long to act? Should Shedeur Sanders be QB1 right now? Tap subscribe if you're done watching Cleveland fumble every opportunity to build something real. And turn on notifications. Because the storm in Cleveland, it's just beginning.